Welcome back to the BTS Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Andrea. Everyone has been looking forward to the yet-to-come in Busan concert, which is the free concert BTS performed in Busan on October 15th. And it seemed that there were celebrations all week in Busan. I saw that ARMY, not just from Korea, but from all over the world, flew in, and the city was welcoming to everybody. It looked like it had a lot of billboards and videos playing, and there's like purple everywhere based on what I was seeing on social media. And it was very similar to what ARMY saw in Las Vegas for the Permission to Dance Las Vegas concerts. Remember how, a lot of the hotels and major tourist areas were lit up in purple. And I think Las Vegas definitely paved the way for this kind of welcome for ARMY, and it looked pretty amazing in Busan as well. I saw that tourists were visiting Jimin's dad's cafe, which I'm assuming is located in Busan, and it looked like there was super long lines to go in there and get a coffee or whatever and check it out. So it looked like it was a great time, and the concert was pretty amazing. More on that in a moment. However, the live stream of the concert was not amazing. And I knew it would be a problem when they first said, oh, it's going to be streaming live on Weverse Live. It's like, really? Are we sure we want to do that? Because Weverse Live has never run smoothly as far as I've seen it. Anything longer than half an hour or an hour on the member V-Lives, it seems to crash a lot. So I'm not sure what they were thinking with that idea. Did they try to improve the system or add more servers since seeing all these problems previously? I don't know. But if they did, I never heard about it. And this is like one of the problems with Weverse is that they don't tell us anything. It's like something will happen and there's like, you only get explanation after the fact. It's like they could have had an announcement that said like, we are doing XYZ in preparation for this live stream and it's going to go smoothly, or like tell us something. I mean, they need to be more transparent about what they're doing. And same issue with the subtitles. It's like, okay, can you guys at least explain what's going on? It's like, hey, we don't have enough people, or it takes a long time, or there's a shortage of labor, whatever the reason of why they don't have the subtitles up fast all the time. Just like give us something so we can, it's like, okay, well, that's fine. If that's the reason, then we can accept it. But it's like they never explain anything, so it's pretty frustrating. So I was attempting to watch this concert live stream, and it was just crashing nonstop. And I did see maybe like 30 to 40 minutes of it, some of that on the Weverse Live stream, and then some of it on Naver. And then, both of those stopped working eventually. And then I was just clicking on anything, people said they had a link on Twitter. I would just click on it. It's like, okay, I have no idea if this is a real link or not, or is it just like spam or whatever. But I was just like trying anything. It was a desperate time. And I was even checking TikTok because, sometimes people that are there would stream it live on other concerts. But I didn't really see any of those. So it was like on TikTok, it was just people streaming that they were watching the Weverse Live, and then it wasn't working. So it's like, that was not much help. And remember that this is happening at 2 a.m. in my time zone. So I'm like barely awake trying to figure out where I can watch this concert. But, there was a JTBC stream that did work, and I think that was the feed that was showing on TV, showing the concert on TV. So I think that was like a TV channel, and so that was the best working one for, like the later half of the concert. But, later on I was able to find a link on YouTube and watch the whole thing. So it's all good. But, Weverse Live, they really should be ashamed of how this went. It was crashing for everyone. And people were dissatisfied all over social media, and rightfully so. And it's not a good look. It's like, it doesn't look very professional. A band as big as BTS, it's like you can't have failures on a technical level. But, I kind of understand, because it's like, I think they said 50 million people were trying to watch this, and that's pretty rough. Like, I don't know if there was a way for this to work, but, some people were saying, like, why wasn't this on YouTube? Because I know they can handle a lot of people, or they have the experience of it, but, I'm sure Hybe had their reasons for what they did, and I hope they learned something from this, because it was just not a good time for a lot of ARMY that night. But as far as the concert, when I did watch it, it was pretty amazing. And it was kind of a shortened version of Permission to Dance, the set list, but, they changed some things around with the order, and the stadium and the setup, it looked really, really nice. That stadium looks gigantic, and it had a huge stage, and it had all the props that we're familiar with, that were from, the Yet to Come video that were on there, that represented the different chapters from BTS's past. And it had like a ton of video screens, like up above, that were in the shape of the BTS logo, and then the kind of bookends next to it. How the proof logo looks. But yeah, there was like a ton of giant video screens there, and they had a lot of fireworks. So it's like, for the people there, it must have been like a pretty crazy experience. And, they had fireworks, and they had a drone show afterwards, which I didn't watch that, but it looked like it was pretty cool. And they went all out on this concert and this celebration, and just the purpose of it, if you recall, was to show that they wanted to hold this World Expo 2030 in Busan. So this was supposed to demonstrate, okay, well, I don't know exactly what the goal was, but it's like, we want that to happen. And so look at this concert, and look how well it was run, as far as like the stuff on the ground. And Busan can handle all of the people coming here, and, a bunch of events happening, and, the infrastructure is there. So I think from that standpoint, they probably succeeded, and they have, Hybe to thank for all that, because they organized the whole thing pretty much, it sounds like. And yeah, so the concert went really well. The songs, nothing, too different, except that they did sing the newer songs from Proof. So that was great. And they started out with Mic Drop. And I feel like I haven't seen this performed in a while. So it was really good to hear that again. And I think it's a great choice for an opener, kind of gets people hyped up. And it also leads perfectly into Run BTS, which we were seeing perform for the first time. So I think everybody was really looking forward to seeing that. But just really quick, when they first came out, they were wearing some new black outfits, so it looked very cool. They looked very, hardcore. J-Hope, he had some like highlights put back in, kind of like what he had for Lollapalooza. RM got a haircut, and the other four, I don't think V's hair changed, but Jungkook, Suga, Jin, and Jimin, they were still rocking their long hair, and so they looked very rock star. They looked very cool. And Jimin was wearing a very loose-fitting black Jimin-esque shirt, so that's the best kind of shirt for him, in my opinion. But yeah, everybody looked great. They looked like they had tons of energy, and they came right out with Mic Drop, and then going into Run BTS. And this choreo looked very difficult. So I don't know. They really had to work hard on that, I'm sure. And they were just doing it. They were like really hitting the moves. So I think everybody was happy to see that perform for the first time. And they followed that with Run, which was like a great song to hear from the past. And just overall, like, J-Hope seemed to have a very commanding presence. Maybe coming off of Lollapalooza and his performance solo, I think he just really like kind of stepped up as a leader. He just looked super comfortable on stage, and he was just like, I don't know, he was just had a lot of like charisma, I think. And it was like more hardcore, not like the sweet J-Hope, but it was like being, rapper J-Hope a lot. And he really like, I mean, just all the rap line, they looked pretty cool. And then Suga had this shirt that said, and I looked it up later, it's like a designer shirt by Vetements. So this isn't like, it's not like he made up the statement on the shirt, but it said, it was a black shirt with white text, and it said, "The earth is flat. Didn't you know that?" And he has flat and that underlined. So I thought, oh, that's a very interesting message for your shirt. I like that he's kind of going the Kanye West route. It's like, I'm just going to like, have a shirt that's controversial, that gets people talking. And, that's definitely a rapper thing to do. So I think it was a good move, and it was very eye-catching. Turns out the font is something that on that shirt is something that they have a very similar one on Canva. So I was able to create a shirt that somewhat looks like that. So check the episode description for a link to that if you want your own version of this shirt that Suga was wearing. Okay, so after Run, they did Save Me, which was great. And then they split off into the vocal line and the rap line. So we saw the vocal line do 0 o'clock and Butterfly. I don't think I've heard Butterfly in a long time. And so it was a beautiful song. It was really great to hear. And then that was followed by the rap line doing Ugh and Cypher Part 3. And I don't know where I saw it, but I think they said that this would be the last time they'd ever perform Cypher Part 3. And I don't know if we ever got an explanation of why that was, or it's like, why does it have to be the last time? Like, maybe you want to sing it again at some point later. But yeah, I think that was about this song. And I haven't seen this song performed very many times, so not that familiar with the lyrics of it and stuff, but they seemed to like really go for it. Like their rapping seemed extra angry, and I'm sure the lyrics are about like, calling out haters and things like that. Very aggressive kind of lyrics, but they seemed to like really hit it hard this time. And so I was feeling that emotion from their core because they were rapping very angrily. So I love that they were performing like at their full capacity of emotions this whole concert. And I think they do that every concert, but it seemed like extra this time even. And I hate to like criticize other groups, but I did see some clips from like Blackpink's concert this week, and they're performing in Seoul at the, I think, KSPO Dome or something like that. And it's just like, okay, they just don't bring the fire as much as BTS does. They're just kind of like, I'm singing this song and I'm doing these moves, but we're not feeling it like from their core. It's not like jumping out from the stage, if that makes sense. It's just like, we're just singing it, and it's like I can barely even hear their voices over the backing track. So it's just like, it's not the experience you get from BTS. And so I think ARMY definitely gets a great show, and we all know it and we appreciate it from BTS because they serve it up every time. And I think even like, okay, they're performing like, 4 times in Vegas, and maybe like one of those times they take it a little easier, with their energy levels. But I think the fact that this Busan concert was, one night only, this is their only shot, there's no like multiple dates, and with them knowing what was happening later, like the announcements that were coming, I think that explains why they just gave it their all, and they put everything out there. So I definitely appreciated that they always give us an amazing show. So Cypher Part 3, and thought it was really cool. Like, all the rappers were doing their thing. They were bringing it. And J-Hope's rap verse, they were showing the Jack in the Box colors. So I thought that was a really cool touch. It's like, oh, okay, this is J-Hope's moment. They're showing the like turquoise and pink colors. And it's like, okay, now we know that means J-Hope. So I thought that was really cool. And they also had a segment with the Boston Dynamics robots dancing to Permission to Dance, and then they were interacting with BTS at one point too, and it's like, okay, did that really need to be there, these creepy robots? I mean, I guess it's because the sponsor, it's like Hyundai and Boston Dynamics or whatever, but was that necessary? Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if this is what you needed, sponsors, in order to have this be a free concert for everybody, then I guess that's the price. We have to see some kind of sponsor stuff. After the vocal line and rap line parts, they changed outfits. They did some, the more recent English songs. They did Dynamite and Boy With Love and Butter. They did Moss City, which, as far as I know, I've never seen that performed before. So that was great that they put something different in there. And then they did Dope and Fire and Idol. And, those were pretty, standard in the set list. And I think these are always like huge crowd pleasers. So, of course, that's why they're there. And after that, they did, just the last few songs. They had some comments. The last songs were Young Forever, and then For Youth, and then Spring Day, and then they finished out with Yet to Come. So I think that was a very solid list of songs, and I think everybody was happy with all the performances. There was a lot to see and a lot to take in, and you could definitely tell by their demeanor that there was going to be more announcements to come, and they just kept kind of hinting towards future stuff. And just in particular, Jin was saying that he's going to be releasing his music soon. He said that in his comments, and he said he was able to work together with someone that he'd always really liked, and there will be a new song, and he's filmed a lot of different things recently, and there's still a lot left to film. So he hopes we'll all enjoy it. So I was like, okay, well, that's something to look forward to. That's got to be the next thing. And I think we were expecting like, okay, who's going to have the next album or the next song, or is there going to be something else announced after this concert? Just because this concert was kind of the big thing everybody was looking forward to. So it's like, okay, well, what's the next thing after this? Are they going to go to award shows? It's kind of near the end of the year. Or are they doing anything, New Year's Eve, stuff like that? But it sounds like they are just continuing with their hiatus and the solo projects. And I think all of the members in their comments, they definitely emphasized, that BTS is going to continue to be a group and stay together, and they have no plans for not being BTS, and they definitely were looking forward to the future. So I think it's good that they kept an optimistic message, and they keep us focusing on things in the future that are going to happen. So I think the concert was very successful, and I think all of the members performed well. They looked and sounded great. At the concert, BTS in their comments seemed to indicate another announcement would be coming soon. RM had said, quote, "If you believe in us and trust us, we will keep going and continue to share music with you. Like Hosuk said, please believe in us." So, a couple of them had comments like that. And so Jin had announced music that was coming, so maybe that means he is not enlisting soon. But if you think about it, it could also mean he wants to release at least some music before he is planning on being away for a while, which was kind of like my train of thought with that. And because if you remember, he said before that he would be the last of the members to release a solo album. So whatever he's releasing that's coming up is just going to be kind of like a single or just, pre-release from this solo album. Yeah, I think he said album, or it was translated to say album, but I don't think his whole album is what's coming out. That's not what he meant. And so, yeah, at the concert, it did seem like, okay, they're kind of a little bit worried about us because they keep talking about the future. And, all of this made sense on the Monday following, because on October 17th, Big Hit released an announcement on Weverse stating that Jin would no longer delay military service. And the message says, "Big Hit Music is proud to announce today that the members of BTS are currently moving forward with plans to fulfill their military service. After the phenomenal concert to support Busan's bid for the World Expo 2030, and as each individual embarks on solo endeavors, it's the perfect time, and the members of BTS are honored to serve." So, and then, they have a little bit more details there, and then it says, "Group member Jin will initiate the process as soon as his schedule for his solo release is concluded at the end of October. He will then follow the enlistment procedure of the Korean government. Other members of the group plan to carry out their military service based on their individual plans. Both the company and the members of BTS are looking forward to reconvening as a group again around 2025, following their service commitment." So this is kind of the first time that we have heard what their actual plan is going to be. And I think it was time. I don't think a lot of ARMY is very surprised at this, but I think maybe because, people in the government, they kept saying this and that, and then there's all this media speculation. It's like, we really didn't know what was going to happen. Like, are they going to get an exemption, or is there going to be some kind of different plan for them? And now that they've made this announcement, I really feel like the government and the media did a huge disservice to BTS with all this speculation, because I'm sure it added to their stress. And it's like, they don't know what they're doing in, the next year, the next 2 years. So I think it was just so unnecessary. And what I wish the government did was just say absolutely nothing, so that we all know that, okay, they're just going to follow the same plan that everybody else in Korea follows, all the males. Or if they said, here's the plan, we're going to offer this to BTS, some kind of different setup. So it's just like, nobody's a leader in Korea. It's like nobody can take a stand or just, figure out what is the best way to go about this. And, I'm not even going to comment if they should or shouldn't have gotten an exemption, because it's kind of like moot point now. But I hope that they are prepared for the hit that the economy is going to take, because that's going to be pretty serious. I don't know if South Korea has some kind of like plan in place, and they've talked to Hybe or whatever about the, it's like, okay, do you guys have enough BTS content to release like in the next 2 years, since you're going to do this plan where they serve? And hopefully that's all worked out, because I would really hate to see South Korea fall under a recession or something, all because BTS is just doing their normal stuff and then performing their military duty like they're supposed to. Like, that shouldn't cause the economy to crash. But, with how bad their leaders are, that is a possibility. So hopefully they have some like smart people that are trying to figure this out in the government, and that doesn't make the whole country suffer. I mean, I think they've already shown pretty bad leadership so far, but let's be optimistic. So this is the first time we're hearing that, okay, 2025 is the plan for when the group will be all together again. And while that does seem like, oh, that's years in the future, that's 3 years from now, 2022 is almost over, so it's really just like a little over 2 years if they come back in early 2025. So yes, Jin is going to have to enlist soon, probably like right in the beginning of November, this is going to happen. But the others will have to follow pretty soon after, because it's only, like a 2-year window in there. And I think the whole service takes at least 18 months. So there might be a time in like end of 2023 or early 2024 when like every single member is going to be away at the military. So I just think we all need to be mentally prepared for that. And I'm sure that Hybe has plenty of content and, solo stuff that they have on a timeline. So I think there's not going to be any shortage of that. I'm not worried about that. It's just going to be like, just knowing that they are away and hopefully not, feeling stressed. And I just hope they could take this experience and learn from it. And I think they will appreciate serving their country and learning something a little bit different. This is like outside their box, of being an artist, being a musician. So it's going to be a little different. Hopefully they don't get stressed about it. I know like sometimes there's some idols it's like it's a really tough situation for them, and they end up with anxiety or they have a difficult time adjusting. But I think, the members of BTS, they seem to be very, mentally tough, physically tough. I think this will be a good experience for them. And I think, ARMY is standing behind them, so they don't need to worry about anything from our end. It's like we're not going to like abandon BTS. So I think they know that. I think it goes both ways. So what else? Yeah, so 2025. And I think they just didn't have any other option but to move forward with their enlistment. And I think this is the right time, since they got nothing from the government on what they should do or what the plans could have been. I think they just had to go ahead and just like, okay, well, we're going now. It's time. So I think everybody respects their decision, and I think the time will go fast. It's not that long if you really think about it. But I do think the government did not appreciate BTS and everything they did for South Korea by not even having a proposal. Because like, how many times did BTS bring in like millions of dollars in tourism and speaking at the UN and bringing a lot of prestige to South Korea? And it's like, okay, President Moon's like, what did you do to show your gratitude to BTS for how much they did for the country? And it's like, okay, maybe they don't get a full exemption, but maybe you could have like done something for all that they've done. I just think the government just really failed and didn't appreciate BTS sufficiently. So it's going to be an interesting time. So after making the announcement of his upcoming solo project during the Yet to Come in Busan concert, Jin officially announced the details of his first solo single called The Astronaut. Weverse released a statement revealing the release date as October 28th with a message for ARMY, and it says, "Hello, this is Big Hit Music. BTS member Jin's first solo single, The Astronaut, will be released on October 28th, 2022. Since it's a song made with so much love toward the fans, we hope The Astronaut can be a gift to all of you. We also prepared various promotions for the fans throughout the preparation process of this single. Please show a lot of anticipation and support for this promotion, where you can meet various sides of Jin." So that's great. And after this announcement, a logo trailer was released on Weverse and YouTube, and it was kind of a CGI that showed like this little astronaut kind of traveling through space and like passing by different planets and stuff. And so it looked really cute and very well done. And there's like even a dog in there in space, so I'm assuming that's like Jin's dog. And they also released the promotion schedule, and so this is actually getting like a lot of the typical promotion stuff, so that's great. And it looks like October 19th is the poster. We're getting concept photos on October 23rd and 24th, the MV teaser on October 26th, and the song in the MV on October 28th, and then the lyric video on October 30th. So this is all happening very fast in this coming week, or the next 10 days, I guess. And we also found out some of the song credits, which I saw on Coldplay Extra on Twitter, which I'm assuming is some kind of, official source, or at least like a fan account that has a lot of the Coldplay info. They said that the Astronaut, it was co-produced and co-written by Jin, Coldplay, Kygo, and Max Martin. The entire band will be playing on the song, meaning Coldplay, and Chris Martin and his son Moses are providing background vocals. So I thought that was pretty amazing, and so clearly it was Coldplay that Jin was talking about in his comment, someone that he admired and was able to collaborate with. So I think this makes perfect sense, especially if we remember like Chris Martin gave Jin a guitar when they got together to film My Universe. So this must be like a very special song that they all worked together on. And I'm pretty surprised to see that Max Martin is working on this song. And if you don't know Max Martin, he is very A-list producer who is behind a lot of the biggest hits, probably like pop music wise. I think he's worked with Coldplay a lot, but I kind of remember him from, Taylor Swift's biggest pop hits. Like her whole 1989 album had a lot of Max Martin influence on it. And it's like, okay, those were all amazing songs. And he writes or produces for, and writes, I think, for like Katy Perry and like all the big pop stars, The Weeknd. Blinding Lights, I think, by The Weeknd was a Max Martin song. It's like, oh, well, of course, that's why it's so catchy. So I think that is a great sign that this song is going to be amazing. It's going to be catchy. It's going to be a hit. Yeah, so I think, especially, all the people that worked on this, you got Coldplay, you got Jin, Max Martin, Kygo, I'm sure he's contributing. I'm not sure what exactly, but, all very talented people. This is going to be a huge song. So, and especially with all of the Jin fans and BTS fans behind it, it's going to be huge. And especially with all the emotion behind it, knowing he's going to enlist soon, I think ARMY wants to give him like a great send-off and, make this song very successful, send it to #1. I don't think that's out of the question. So I'm just really looking forward to this MV and this song. I think it's going to be amazing. So it's kind of been a bittersweet week. We've had some high points, some tough news to hear, but I think if ARMY, you just all hang in there and, just, you've got plenty of time now. We can all enjoy the content that we haven't been able to catch up on. We've got, unlimited amounts of that, and we're going to see all of the solo stuff coming up very soon too. And I think it's going to be okay. Well, let's all be optimistic for this time. I know it just seems like, okay, 2025, but that's okay because it'll make it that much better that they're not going to be 7 together until then. We can all have something to look forward to. You can listen to BTS Happy Hour on Samsung Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or visit btshappyhour.com. If you like the show, please take a moment to rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Weverse. Check out the merch store with BTS-themed tees, hoodies, and more, linked in the description, as well as on the BTS Happy Hour Facebook page. Until next time, this has been the BTS Happy Hour. Thanks for listening, and remember, make every hour a happy one.